Alrighty guys, so we've looked into the SSR weapons. It's time to look into the characters. Obviously we've got a selection of characters to choose from, and we're just going to go through all of them, see what they're doing. I have an understanding on what each character does because I've gone through all of their stuff, so I've got an idea on who I would recommend. But who would you reroll for, who would you start your account with, and more importantly, who would you want to class as your rate up characters? So, with all that being said, let's dive one in and check out these SSR characters. Okay, so let's start things off with, I guess, the OC. Why not? One of my desired characters, and I do hope that I get, of course. So she is a defensive water type character. So let's have a look at what we're doing. I mean, there isn't any point of doing minimum maximum because it's only the percentage that goes up. But I'll leave it on minimum since we're all going to be getting the initial copy of this character, of course. So of course, dealing water damage, being a water type character, of course. So the second basic attack does 420% damage off the user's max HP, so she's scaling off her HP, so that's something to take note. Does water element, and more importantly, her break on the second skill is light damage, and then of course when this skill hits, it inflicts airborne effect as per usual. Going over to the skill sets now, so for the first skill, 730% damage of the user's max HP, 12-second cooldown, water element, the break on that is light, unfortunate, but it is what it is. And then when the skill hits, knockdown is applied onto the target. Now, when the user uses heavy attack Water Dragon Rush, it applies a shield to the entire team. The super armor effect is applied to the user while using this skill. That's also something to take note of. The super armor that she can get, or I guess the protection that she gets from using this skill. But more importantly, shield. A unit that can provide shield for the whole team. So applies a shield equal to 5% of the user's max HP, so you're going to kind of buffing that up. It's on for 25 seconds, so that's actually a great amount of time, I will say. So shield right there, we love that. Also gets super armor. Second skill, 730% of the user's max HP as attack, 12% cooldown, water element, break once again is light. When the skill hits, knockdown of course on the enemy. When the user uses heavy attack lightning kick, the break damage they deal increases by 50%. If that break was medium, and then obviously we've got the break damage buff of 50%, I think that would have been nice. But regardless, still that's extremely handy in terms of breaking, I guess. And also the super armor effect is applied to the user while using this skill. So when the heavy attack lightning kick and heavy attack water dragon rush is applied, there is super armor, so we don't get interrupted. Shielding gets applied, which is key, and then we get that break extra 50% increased damage, which is absolutely brilliant. So already we're seeing the support play in terms of shielding as well as the damage and the potential break, so that is a huge plus. Going into the ultimate, 420, again this is level 1. If I max it out, you guys can see again it's only the percentage that is getting buffed up in terms of on what the skill does. Actually I'll leave it on, actually no, we'll do minimum. Actually I'll flick back and forth so you guys can see. So if I do that, 148, 154, and then 159, 630, 1095%, 1095. It doesn't let me choose the level, which is very unfortunate because I would like to see on what like a +1 damage would look like. But either way, going over to so we're doing the support skill now. So water element once again, break damage is medium. When this skill hits, it knocks down the enemy, which is nice. As it's a support skill, it also provides shield. This time around, it's given us an extra 5% of shielding in terms of if we used Water Dragon Rush. Oh, it would have to be the heavy attack version of it. That's interesting. That's actually brilliant. I love that. Jim will absolutely love that. And then when it comes to the QTE skill, it's just casual damage with light break damage and then airborne effect. Okay, so nothing too crazy on the QTE skill, that's absolutely fine, but that support skill is very handy, I will say. And then in terms of the ultimate, once again it's just doing full on a great deal of damage, I'd say, and no break, but if inflicted, well, if it hits the skill, then airborne effect will be applied. Okay, going over to the passive now. So, when the Twin Dragon Strike, Water Dragon Rush, Lightning Kick, or Burst Punch are used, which is these two, yes, yes, and Twin Dragon Strike, there we go, stacks training. one time. When training reaches 3 stacks, applies Water Dragon Training. When a Water Dragon Training is active, it resets the cooldown of Water Dragon Rush and Lightning Kick, which is the 2 basics, and changes them to Heavy Attack Water Dragon Rush and Heavy Attack Lightning Kick. So that's how we activate the Heavy Attack versions of these skills, by using Twin Dragon Strike, Water Dragon Rush and Lightning Kick, or Burst Punch, and then we'll get 1 training for each use, and once we max out on 3, then we get the Heavy Attack coming in. That sounds pretty easy to do. We'll take that. So the training is infinite, and it will stack up to 3 times. There's something more to it. And then the Water Dragon Training, when the user uses Heavy Attack Water Dragon Rush or Heavy Attack Lightning Kick, the effects are removed. So yeah, no, that kind of makes sense, to be honest. So yeah, very, very simplistic on that part, but it kind of gives us a way to get the Heavy Attack, I guess. And then going into the duping outside of things, increases the damage of the Heavy Attack by 150%. That is very nice, I would say. Increases the user's break damage by 15%. Increases the user's Heavy Attack Lightning Kick break damage by 50%. So 15% and 50%, lovely. And then when you max it out, the critical hit rate and skill damage of Heavy Attack increases by 32%. Wow. So basically, the Heavy Attack, once the Water Dragon Training is in place and the Heavy Attacks are activated, that is where she clearly shines in terms of you know, the damage as well as the shielding that this OC provides. So basically a shielder as well as a damage dealer, potential breaker, would say. Going over to Emma now. So if you have a look at Emma, so I've got this character, I know about her, and I absolutely love her. And Choi together are disgusting. I'm just gonna put that out there. So pretty much does fire damage on the second basic attack, of course. It does break light damage, of course. When the last attack in the combo hits, it inflicts airborne. More importantly, you do burn. So deals damage equal to 70.77% of HP every 3 seconds. Duration 30 seconds. By the way, 777 is going to be a key factor for this character, because yeah, 777. You'll see what I mean. Deals 777 of the user's max HP. If you max it out, it goes up a little bit more. But the break is medium damage. When the last attack in the combo hits, it inflicts airborne effect. When the user attacks a burning target, the damage increases by 10%. So that's something to take note of, and this is why I say her and Choi together are absolutely a pair in heaven when it comes to fire units. And then, of course, going over to the second skill. Her break is heavy on this one, which is beautiful. And then when the last attack on the combo hits, it inflicts airborne effect, of course. Again, if the enemy is burnt, you do 10% increased damage. Going over to the ultimate now. Again, break is medium. When the last attack is in the combo hits, you again want to get airborne. When this skill is used, it applies the heat absorption and heat emission effect. And what that is, heat absorption increases defense by 7.77%. The user recovers HP equal to 7.77% of the damage taken. And then this is on for 20 seconds. So that's beautiful in terms of the defensive play and the healing play. And then the heat emission increases defense penetration by 7.77%. And the user's fire damage increase by 7.77%. So just an all-rounder, really good supportive skill in terms of defense, healing, damage. Love it. Going over to the sorry, that was the sorry, that's the support skill. My apologies. That's the support skill. QTE skill is light break damage and burns the target. So that's actually really good. Actually comes in and burns, so that way that can correlate between the basic skills. Sorry. So that was the support. My apologies. That was the support skill. The ultimate now. The ultimate obviously deals greater damage. Starts out at 1555% and then maxes out at 2332. But pretty much deals fire damage while heat absorption is active. The user's damage decreases by 33.33% and they are refunded 50% of their power gauge and cooldown time. If heat emission is active, the user's damage increases by 77.77%. I'm not gonna lie, first reading the first half of heat absorption, I was like, hold on a minute. What's going on here? Why am I? What's going on? Why am I decreasing my damage by 33.33%? And then it comes into the power gauge and cooldown time that you get back, alongside with heat emission actually buffing you up 77.77%, of course. So there's that. It kind of helps you out. Going over to the passive, the heat absorption effect is applied for each specific action, and when flame cleave is used, which I believe is the second skill right here. Okay, so it's used. Applies the heat emission effect depending on the number of heat absorption stacks. When the user uses the basic attack and gets hit, the heat absorption effect is applied once. When the user uses core attack, burn up, flame judgment, or extreme evasion, applies the heat absorption effect 4 times. When the user uses burning pride, which is the ultimate, it applies heat absorption 10 times. When heat emission is active, the currently applied heat absorption effect is consumed. And basically what this correlates to, with depending on how many heat absorption you have, if you have 5 stacks, you get a defense increase of 7.77%. If you have 10 stacks, you recover HP equal to 7.77% of damage taken. And if you maximize it with 15 stacks, it applies a shield equal to 7.77% of the user's max HP. That's heat absorption. Heat emission, 5 stacks, defense penetration by 7.77%. 10 stack increases the user's fire damage by 7.77%, and then if you maximize it, 15 stacks, applies a team member as... Oh, wait, sorry, I didn't read that right. At 15 stacks, the heat emission effect applies to team members as well. So your team members are benefiting from the defense pen as well as the fire damage buff. Now, this is why I say this is so clutch to have with Choi, because of course Choi is a burning type character. He also reduced the enemy's defense. So to have the two together, and you're going against a boss that has, like, just in general, if a boss, regardless if they have fire weeks or not, these two, her and Choi together, are insane. But there is a reason why I was able to farm out the gear raid so early on, being the boss having a fire typing weakness. Choi and Emma together, their burn damage is disgusting. It truly is, especially with all the once all those decrease comes about, you are literally dropping level bars in an instant. It's amazing to see, I will say. So that is pretty much the other OC, and of course if you dupe her out, increases break damage of burn up by 77.77%. I kind of want that, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want that. Going furthermore on, increases user's break effect by 10%, increases damage dealt to targets affected by break effect by 20%. That's beautiful. When heat emission is used, the active heat absorption effect is applied to team member. Oh, that plus 3. Oh, that plus 3. Oh my god. She Loki is a support. I was about to say mage. What? Hunter. Wait, that's actually insane. What? And then if you max her out, when the target enters the break state, resets the cooldown of all skills, recovers core gauge and power gauge by 100%, applies the damage increase. Jesus Christ almighty. Okay. You boys, I'm not gonna lie, getting dupes on Emma might actually be the play here. I'm not gonna cap. God damn. Anyway, moving on to the Dark Mage, being Lee Bora. Let's take a look at what we've got going on here. Okay, so of course she's doing dark damage in general. She's got Tracking Charm, which again just does damage in general, does dark damage, and then of course again, if inflicted, enemy will get airborne effect as per usual. Going over to the basic skills now. So does dark element damage, starting at 810, increasing to 1215. Creates an enchantment circle zone for 10 seconds. Removes any debuff zone in the area where the skill lands. That's not too bad, we'll take that. Enchantment Circle. Increases dark elemental damage by 10% for the team members standing in the enchantment circle. This could be good in terms of, let's say you've got Jin Woo and his dark ruins, which I do. That is pretty nice to have. As of right now, I'm not gonna lie, dark is kind of in the low tier mark of things. So in terms of the I forgot his name, but we've got a ranged dark user that could actually come in handy in terms of getting that plus 10%. Moving on though, enchantment circle increases magic arrow damage of Phantom Fox by 20% and changes to penetration attack, and where that correlates to is the second skill, because the second skill you summon 2 Phantom Foxes, and what they do is they do magic arrow damage of 82.5% of attack, and the summon duration is 12 seconds. So that's kind of what's happening there. Again, you get 2 of these. And then going over to the ultimate, again, doing... no, sorry, that's the support. Why do I keep saying ultimate? That's the support. Yeah, okay, it's not doing too crazy. Okay, so it deals dark element damage, that's fine. When this skill hits, it applies charm effect, which increases damage taken effect by 15%. When this skill hits, it removes debuff zones in the area. Okay, that's not too bad. Debuff remover, we'll take that, and then allowing us to do more damage. Can't go wrong with that. The QTE skill does dark damage. It also applies charm, so we can do 50% more damage. and again just has that airborne effect, so not too bad on that part. And then the ultimate, here we go. Oh, okay, just does flat out damage. I mean, to be fair, the damage output is not too bad in terms of being a dark mage, so I'll give it props on that part. Good amount of damage, I'd say. Heading over to the passive. When tracking Charm, Tempest, or Quick Attack Tempest hits, they apply the Charm effect. Okay, cool. I mean, just gives us to do extra damage. It's not too bad. First dupe, the effects of summoning Charm Phantom Fox changes. When Phantom Fox is used, 3 foxes are now summoned, and it increases the damage of each Phantom Fox by 50%. Not too bad. Alright, that's pretty handy, that's pretty helpful. Increases the user's crit rate by 6% and crit damage, that's not too bad. The effects of Strengthening Charm change can be used up to 2 times. It increases the skill range and damage by 40%. That's pretty handy. And then if you maximize it, the basic damage of the small megs of Dark Charm Meg increases by 75%, of course. Alrighty, so pretty much debuffer remover, we'll say, as well as helps out, allowing us to do more damage and supports the dark attack by 10%. Okay, alright, next unit on the board. We got ourselves a wind unit. Okay, attacking character. Let's see what Hong's doing here. So, wind element damage as per usual. I have used this character, so I am aware of what this character can do. This character is pretty fantastic. So he's dealing damage. So deals, for example, deals 723% of the user's defense. So basically, build up his defense. That's basically how you want to go about doing it. But moving on to the basic skills. So yeah, once again, does great amount of damage, does wind damage. This skill can be used up to 3 times. When the last attack is in the combo hit, it knocks down the enemy target. When the skill hits, it removes target's shield. So this is the one. So this is the reason why I really want this character, is because he's a shield remover, and I want that, I need that, I got to get that. So again, please, he might have to be on my summoning board, I'm not gonna lie. Basic skill on the second skill, again, just does wind damage. Again, if the last attack hits, then it inflicts airborne. It's just full on damage on what this character can apply. It's pretty disgusting, by the way. So, but I mean, then again, it is an attacking character, so it kind of makes sense. Going over to the support skill, of course, once again, doing damage. When the last attack hits, it removes shield, and that's on the support skill, and it also applies stun. That support skill, I love. Shield removal and stun, I got to get it. I got to get it. Moving over to the QTE skill, once again, just does wind damage. A great deal of it, should I say, and knocks down the enemy target. Heading over to the ultimate. Ultimate does an insane amount of damage. Wind damage, again, last hit inflicts airborne. And then going over to the passive, when Greed, Scavenger, Steel Bow, or S-Rank Influence. S-Rank Influence, is that the first skill? No, where is that? I'm so lost. Oh, it's the second basic skill. Okay, that's fine. After being hit, applies the impulse effect. When the impulse effect reaches max, it stacks and applies the impulse revenge effect. So impulse effect increases the user's defense by 3%. It can stack up to 5 times. That's infinite. So that will correlate into him actually doing more damage. Love that. And give him a higher defense. Love that. Impulse revenge increases the user's defense by 24%. Creates a shield equal to 12% of the user's defense. When applying the effect for the first time, urge to kill is enhanced. The damage is doubled and the cooldown resets. Mother of... Okay, holy sh... Okay, well... Okay. Yeah, how many times do we stack it up? Reaches max 5 times. So once we stack it up 5 times, all hell's gonna break loose, essentially. That's insane. Okay, so Greed Scavenger can be charged up to tier 2, and it does 100% increased damage. Beautiful. Increased defense. Every time Greed Scavenger is used, obtains the madness effect. Increases user's defense and defense penetration by 4%, stacking up to 3 times for 6 seconds. Okay, yeah, just makes him even more crazier. And then increases the user's merciless damage for 30%. That's the ultimate. Oh yeah, so I read this and I was like, god damn. Increase the user's merciless damage to the equal to 400% of the defense penetration stats. So basically, defense and defense pen, you want to kind of cater to that. Especially if you haven't maxed out that defense pen, if you can cater to that, bro. This ultimate, Loki, is going to be doing madness. And it already does a ton of damage. So, yeah. Full-on defense damage. There we go. As well as shield removal. So you gotta love that. We got ourselves Min, aka the healer, the SSR healer. Fantastic unit straight off the bat, I will say that right now. but he's a light target, so that's lovely. Obviously correlates with the HP, so you got to cater to that. Okay, so first skill, just doing regular damage as per usual, pretty low, but then again he is a healer, so that's fine. Going over to the second basic attack, does light damage. When disguised, the user's damage is increased by 50%, so that'll come in with his passive. Going over to the basic skills now, so yeah, damage wise it's pretty poor, but it is what it is. Deals light element damage. When the last attack hits, then you can apply knockdown to the target, which is nice. When this skill is used, the user's entire team recovers HP equal to 0.75 of minimum. Oh, sorry, I didn't read it. Of men's max HP every second for 10 seconds. So there's that healing that comes into place. When the user is disguised, the recovery rate increases by 100%. So yeah, that is something to take note of. Going over to the second skill. Again, damage is somewhat low, but it is what it is. Deals light element damage. When this skill hits, it applies punishment effect. When the user is disguised, the punishment effect increases to 15%. And what that is that the enemy's damage taken increases by 5%. So if you have the disguise on, then that's going to be 20%. That you're able to do more damage to your enemy for 20 seconds. So that debuff is actually pretty nice to have. It's allowed me to kind of drop some big numbers, I will admit, and then especially when I'm trying to do Jin Wiz ultimate. Moving over to the support skill, of course. So once again, doing light damage, pretty low on that part. When the user uses his skill, it applies a HP continuous recovery effect that recovers HP equal to 1% of their max HP every second for 10 seconds to the entire team. When this skill hits knockdown target, when this skill hits, knock down the target, there we go. When this skill hits, applies the punishment effect, so it increases damage taken by 15%. So that's just a straight off the bat 15%. So that's actually a pretty solid support skill. With the QTE, you're doing light damage. When this skill is used, the user's power gauge recharges by 5%, so that's pretty handy. Going over to the ultimate, does light damage. The user applies Heavenly Blessing effect to the entire team. When the user is disguised, it applies the critical hit damage increase effect for the entire team. So what that is, Heavenly Blessing, the user's damage dealt and critical hit rate increases by 12% for 12 seconds, and then the critical hit damage increase, the user's critical hit damage increases equal to 40% of the amount that exceeds Min Byung-yu's basic critical hit damage. Again, duration for 12 seconds. That right there is a blessing. This is a blessing right here. I'll be honest. And then moving along to the passives. So when tagging in or using Divine Punishment, it applies Disguise. Decreases damage taken by 50%, enhances specific skills effects when hit, and removes Disguise. Duration is 10 seconds. So overall, as a healer, extremely good. If you can, yeah, you guys know where I'm going with this. Getting just that initial dupe, all team members crit hit rate and crit hit damage increased by 8% and increases to 12% for light team members, which, by the way, he correlates beautifully with the other light user that we have, which I'll get into in just a second. Increases HP, that's beautiful. When light glimmer is used, the entire team instantly recovers HP equal to 2% of Min's HP. Gauge acquisition rate increases by 10%, and then if you max him out, when the user uses Heavenly Blessing, increases the damage of the next ultimate skill of the team member with the highest total power by 50%. That is a offensive support if I've ever seen one. That is beautiful. But again, as a healer, this character is really good. If you can max out on his HP, the healing is actually pretty insane. And then we have Wu Jincho, which is of course a free character. We will get him for free, and yeah, looking into him, I'm just like, oh, they really made him a free character, boys. So yeah, basic skill does decent amount of damage. Break is light, wind damage, pretty much. He's also working off from defense, so that's something to take note of course. Basic skill, of course, wind damage. 437 to start off with, then it goes to 520 when you max out to level 10. Break is light, of course. This skill can be used up to 2 times. Decreases the cooldown of Iron Fist by 3 seconds when the first attack in the combo hits. Iron Fist is the second skill. Does a decent amount of damage, I will admit. Wind, the break is medium damage. When this skill is used, it charges dash 1 time. It also provides you with super armor. We'll get into dash in just a second. Going over to support. Wind damage. Break is medium. When this skill is used, it increases the max number of dash stacks by 2 and charges for 20 seconds. So realistically, you want to use the support skill to correlate into the Iron Fist by the looks of it, right? And then the QTE skill just does wind damage as well as break is medium. But I mean, the percentage wise for damage wise is actually pretty nice, I will admit. And then going over to the ultimate, yeah, once again does a great deal amount of damage as well as it being wind damage. Now passive, this is where things really do kick off. When the user uses dash, increases the damage of suppress, meditation of power and Iron Fist by 25% for 5 seconds. I assume if we can increase the number of dash being 2, that will then correlate into it being 50% increase. That's what I'm going with. Kind of makes sense, so I don't see why not. So that's pretty much how that's working. The effect of meditation of power change increases break effect by 100%, can be used up to 3 times. So more than likely this is what some people might be getting if you have already pulled this character. Then you got a dupe coming in, not too bad. However, it increases the cooldown by 2 seconds of meditation of power, but you do get that 100% on the break effect, so you can't go wrong with that. Defense pen increase on the 2 mark. When the user uses dash or extreme evasion, decrease the cooldown of meditation power and Iron Fist by 2 seconds and activates the user's core attack. Okay, well I think that kind of helps that out on the increase on the cooldown on the skill +1. Fair enough. And then if you max him out, when the user uses meditation of power, increases defense by 5%, stacks up to 10 times. Isn't that the ultimate? No, wait, which one's meditation of? Oh, it's this one. Interesting. Okay, and that's basically the free character on how he's working. Nothing too crazy. In terms of being a defensive character, it's pretty interesting, but yeah, not a win unit that I would probably cater to in terms of the alternative option. We'll just say that. But as a free character, not too bad. We'll take it. Choi, we've already spoken about. I'll briefly, I might speak about him later. I don't know. We'll see. But I just want to focus on the characters that are on the rate up banner. Okay, Lim Taegu. Let's have a look what's going on here with the range user, another dark type user, and of course that will then work nicely in terms of applying that enchantment circle, getting that 10%. Okay. Skills, let's have a look. Range damage, pretty decent on the basics, we'll say. 140, 150, 160, 210, 225, 240. And then the second skill, pretty much, again, dark damage. And then break is light on that part, not too bad on that one. Damage actually pretty decent. Going over to the basic skills now. So once again, dark element, break is light. This skill can be used up to 2 times. When this skill is used, it activates user's core attack. Second skill, again, does great deal of damage, the dark damage, and then break on this is heavy. So that's actually really good, actually, I'm not gonna lie. Going over to the support skill, dark damage, break is medium, applies magic boost effect to allies, which is increases the user's core attack damage by 15%. You'll notice when it's activated because you'll see like 3 purple orbs around you, really is actually super helpful. And then going over to the QTE skill, of course, dark damage, break is light on that one, very simple. And then the ultimate itself, Typhoon Fire, being the sniper mode. So again, does dark damage. And once sniper mode is activated, the user's basic attack changes and becomes quick attack Typhoon Fire. Quick attack Typhoon Fire damage is 1003. If you max it out, 1504 of the user's attack. The user can fire up to 8 individual projectiles for 8 seconds. So yeah, the percentage kind of catches you off, but the reason for that is because you've got 8 big shots coming the enemy's way, so it kind of adds up. And then going over to the passive, when airborne burst is used, applies the magic boost, which is when the skill hits, the user fires 3 magic arrows. When the user's basic attack hits, fires 2 magic arrow damage, deals damage equal to 50% of the user's attack per arrow, increases the damage of core attack Typhoon Fire, quick attack Typhoon Fire by 15%, and this is on for 15 seconds. So not too bad in terms of damage, or trying to get what little damage you can. Going over to the dupes, enhances the skill effect of shoot and maneuver, increases the user's skill, speed and damage by 25% and can be used up to 3 times. That's beautiful. Break effectiveness goes up by 20%. When magic boost is active, increases the effect of the core attack Typhoon Fire and quick attack Typhoon Fire by 20%. Oh, I kind of like that, actually. Moving along to the final dupe. Every time the user's core attack hits, increases attack by 2%, stacks up to 7 times, and that is for permanent. So yeah, I feel like I feel like at the very least, just getting them +1 is pretty decent enough. I wouldn't say I wouldn't go too crazy for that +5, but then again, it is permanent attacking buff, so you can't go wrong on that part. So then we got our other light user, Yunho, the tank that can pack a punch, we'll say that. So yeah, deals damage, light damage. Break is light on the basic skill. Once again, break is light on the basic skill, but it does the white flame pummel actually does good damage. Going over to the basic skills now. Once again, going off from the user's defense, light damage as well as break is medium, and then on the second skill again does a great deal of damage in turn, and then light damage, and then break is heavy on this one. Very nice. Going over to the support skill, so light damage, break is medium, deals violent explosion damage equal to 400% of the defense and applies a defense decrease of 20% for 10 seconds. And then the QTE skill just does light damage and the break is medium. Going over to the ultimate, again a great deal of damage being dealt. Also applies the explosion equal to 400% of the defense, and then applies the debuff of reducing the enemy's defense by 20%. Going over to the passive, the white flame effect is applied to the last hit of the skills excluding basic attack, so it'll be basic skills, special skills, and ultimates, of course. Okay, cool. So when the effect reaches 3 stacks, it activates a violent explosion, once again dealing that 400% depending on the user's defense, and applying defense decrease, so you always get... Oh my god, okay, that is actually pretty insane. So violent explosion is always going to be there, and on top of that, the 20% decrease on defense is going to be pretty insane. I'm kind of want to... Okay, we'll double check Choi, because I know he can also drop defense in a consistent manner. If you get the first dupe, increases damage of white flame gale kick. Wait, what? Okay, that actually is doing a great deal. So you're getting a plus 150% on that. That's on the first dupe too. Oh my god. Okay, increases the user's break effectiveness by 20%. Okay, when bottom pit is used, applies the white flame unlocked, increases user's light damage by 30%. What the hell? Okay, crit rate increased by 8%. When the user enters the stage, recovers power gauge by 100% and increases the damage of violent explosion by 8%. Okay, that's pretty disgusting, I'll admit. Is he a tank? This man possesses so much power. I feel like he should be a freaking attacker. What is going on? Yonho's coming out here just cleaning house. But those are the SSRs in question. Let me just double check something with Choi. Let me just quickly double check if it wants to load. I've already gone over this character because this was the character I rerolled for 15%. But I'm pretty sure his defense break is more. Is it not consistent? Oh damn. Okay, that's interesting. Alright, so when it comes to looking into the characters in question now, after reading about these characters, obviously what they're capable of doing, and if you do side quests, you can actually use some of these characters, FYI. But I think when starting your account off, when re-rolling or whatnot, or just kind of starting off on which character to kind of start your account off with, which I would advise for, I think your best bet would clearly be the healer. And see, I'm kind of because what I want to do is I want to do a 2-2 set. So clearly, if we take you off actually, and we'll just let's say for the weapon's sake, right, we'll just do the 2-2 set because you kind of want to make it even, right, in terms of supporting Jinwoo and then having the hunters. So the healer will be a must, and I think the second character I think you can really benefit from would honestly be the OC in terms of the break that she can apply with the damage that she also gets, as well as it correlating to the shielding and the super armor on both her skills, can I just add. And plus you've got water coverage and light coverage right there. So I think I think these two honestly might be the best bet for you to kind of reroll for if you are starting a new account and whatnot. Or if you don't have and you're kind of wondering on who to kind of click for the rate up, yeah, that would honestly be the best bet. And then if I did it in a way where I was just focusing on one weapon, it really is a toss-up between two characters, being whether I want, because the way I've kind of worded it with my Choi video is that obviously rerolling for him is will be a lot more beneficial because one, he's a premium rate up banner character, and two, you get his weapon for free, so you might as well maximize your account by getting him for free at the very beginning, right? And because of if that is the case, then I think, yeah, your best bet would be boom. Oh, why not take you off? Boom, right? But I would always get these two, so that way again you've got typing coverage. But if you're happy with just going for one weapon, or you're happy with the SR weapons for Jinwoo, then I think that will be the case. And then if I went full on Hunter, then I think this would be the lineup. Actually, let me do an order. So healer, shielder, burn. There we go. Purely because of damage, and wait, yeah, purely because of damage and shield removal, and then again that support skill will also provide stun, so that's also pretty nice. But yeah, I think when it comes to SSR characters, boys, that's kind of what we're looking at in terms of who you should pick for the rate up banners. One to start your account off with, and just in general as you're summoning, maybe you've got, let's say, the healer and whatnot, who's next? Maybe you've got these two characters, who's next, right? But because there's 4 slots, yeah, I'm gonna kind of leave it as that. Who would have thought the OC characters low-key are bumping, boys? Not gonna lie, but that's kind of how I would personally go about choosing them. I know, honestly, it really is a toss-up between these two in terms of damage and power, because these two are holding it down, I will admit. So kind of goes on preference on if you want a wind or if you want light, I guess. But for me personally, I think this will be the best way to go about it in terms of shield removal and stun. So anyway, that's going through all the SSR characters. I will do a tier list. I also need to read up on the SR characters, and I'll probably speak about those characters briefly on the tier list video. So I'll go through the SR characters on there, but I just kind of wanted to make its own video when it comes to the SSR characters to help out those that are considering re-rolling, starting a new account, or waiting for global to drop, and focusing on what characters to rate up on this banner in particular. Yeah. Alright, boys. Whew, I'm out. Take care. Peace.